Hey everybody, I hope you're doing well. So look at this interesting caption here. I'm sure we've all heard about it. It says Pentagon to request $200 billion for war with Iran. Yep, 200 billion, B as in boy, dollars for war with Iran. Last I checked, the measure has been blocked. 60 senators blocked it. We didn't go through Congress for this war, and now we're like, oh yeah, now we need $20 billion for the war with Iran. And here's what I've always said. I never, and everyone's different, different. I never trust all these outlets about all this money going over here and there. It's like, how do we really know that? It's not like we can look on a screen and log into the account, as a taxpayer and see where the money's going. We can't do that. But when these things do happen, I'm going to say this and not accusing anyone, just my opinion. But when these things do happen, oh, it's a money grab somewhere, in my opinion. I'll just say it is possible that somebody, not saying Hicks, anybody in particular, but it's possible it could be a money grab. What are you talking about? Oh, we've been down this road before. I remember hearing my parents talk about this here, Ollie North, okay? So we're like pretty much, some of you weren't alive, but school age, I remember this as a kid. So what am I talking about? The $200 billion. Keep in mind, 200 billion and boy billion. So during the Iran Contra affair, and you can Google this. This is when they had Ollie North in charge. During the Iran Contra affair in the mid 1980s, roughly 18 billion of the proceeds from secret U.S. arms sales to Iran was unaccounted for or diverted to support the Contras rebels in Nicaragua. Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North, a National Security Council aide, was the key figure behind this diversion, which was designed to fund the Contras despite a congressional ban, the Boland Amendment. The scheme, oh, not a scheme. North and his associates, the enterprise, inflated the price of U.S. supplied missiles sold to Iran and used the residual margin, the profit, to buy arms for the Contras, missing millions. Look at this. Investigations found that while Iran paid approximately 30 million for weapons, only a fraction reached the official U.S. government channels, with roughly 18 million left unaccounted for or diverted to the Contra rebels. Shredding evidence. November 1986, when the deal began to fall apart, North testified that he and his secretary, Fawn Hall, shredded documents for several days, destroying crucial records of the financial transactions. The enterprise accounts. The funds were managed through a complex network of offshore companies and Swiss bank accounts managed by the retired Air Force Major General Richard Secord and Albert Hakim, collectively known as the Enterprise. North later claimed that he diverted the money to the Contras to ensure their survival, and that he was following the implicit orders of his superiors, including the late CIA Director William Casey. So, how much? Investigations found that while Iran paid roughly 30 million for weapons, only a fraction reached the U.S. official government channels, with roughly 18 million left unaccounted for or diverted to the Contra rebels. I don't believe in no way that that money went to the Contra rebels. I believe that money went to the ones at the top. So this is 1986. And now we get back here. I mean, the jokes write themselves. Pentagon to request 200 billion for war with Iran. Can you imagine if that was done in 1986? And this is offshore. Again, I've been saying, others talk about, we're going to do this study here to see, why do penguins walk really slow? And we're going to pay $10 million. Why the heck do we even care? Pork belly spending, no, it's a way to give somebody at the top or that they know a job. So Pentagon to request 200 billion for war with Iran. Again, I'm not saying that that is going to happen or repeat itself, but we know one thing that did happen. So if they could do that back then, can you imagine $200 billion? What could happen out of that $200 billion? Oh, 179 didn't make it. 31 billion didn't make it. That's why I never trusted. Yeah, yeah. I mean, how do we know? It's not like we can log in, look on the word, and even that I wouldn't trust it because are you kidding? So I've been saying all that money is supposed to go here and there. How do we really know that? So I was brought up to stay with current affairs. Oh yeah, especially my dad. You need to. Oh, my dad even taught me growing up. You're going to meet people. You need to kind of be abreast up on the news and read things so you can be conversational. My father taught me that. You need to know what's going on in the world. My dad taught me that. So you can engage in conversation intelligently, not about inquiry. Oh my God, that is like, I'm sorry, that is even beneath my father's raising, something like that. But my dad taught me that. You need to know what's going on in the world. You need to learn to read something. My parents got the newspaper every day. I get the WSJ 5 days a week. You need to read and know. So when things happen, you're having a conversation with people, you will have an intelligent answer. Not like, well, I don't know about that. No, we don't do that. So this here, that's how I remember this. Missing millions, $30 million, only a fraction. One more time. Investigations found that while Iran paid approximately 30 million for weapons, only a fraction reached the official U.S. government channels, with roughly 18 million left unaccounted for, diverted to the Contra rebels. Man, I bet that 18 million is belonging to an American at that time. That's what I bet is. So if that happened then, not saying it's going to happen now, not accusing anyone because I would never. But if that happened then, who's to say what could happen with $200 billion? Huh? Think about it. Oh, there's money in war, and we're hearing more about the war and less about Epstein. This economy. I think we can't even afford the war. So, ergo, my message is if they haven't gotten approval to my understanding, but imagine with $200 billion. And again, it says offshore accounts, shredded documents. How they do it? The funds were managed through a complex network of offshore companies and Swiss bank accounts managed by retired Air Force Major General Richard Secord and Albert Hakem, collectively as the Enterprise, per this article here. Complex. So $200 billion. Ooh, somebody can really get paid if someone were to do what they did. Do you think that's possible? Or maybe, we are here held to holding on to our ethics and our integrity. And even that right there, do you see where this is going? If you think I remember, I'm not the only one. They can remember, oh my, so they inflated the prices back then, making a country look like a bunch of cheats. Oh, so you're gonna inflate the prices when it comes to Iran. You think that they haven't forgotten that? I haven't forgotten. I'm showing you today. That was in 86. I was a kid. So if I haven't forgotten it, you think they haven't forgotten? And then we're in negotiations, then we go ahead and strike. So let me know what you think. Is a $200 billion going to go directly to the war? Or is it possible maybe we're talking $200 billion. What if just 100 million? That's a drop in the bucket. What if 100 million just came up missing? But in whose pockets is that money? $200 billion, man, 300 million could come up missing. Well, you still got 700 billion more. How do we know that that won't happen again? Let me know what you all think about that. Thanks for watching. Feel free to comment, like, subscribe, and share.